Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of Premier Wigs Closet, how to create a glueless wig. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how I double tracks and my method of sewing the tracks on the cap without getting any bunching. If you're interested in getting a hair vendor, check out the link in my bio, and also I have a discount for my YouTube viewers. Please subscribe, guys. So when I'm doubling my tracks, I start at the open end of the tracks. So this lever right here did not come with my sewing machine. I actually bought it off Amazon. I'll leave the link in my bio so you guys can purchase it, but it makes sewing a lot much easier, especially doubling the tracks. Yeah, I really suggest all wig makers buy this piece because it makes everything go so much faster. And you'll see it right here when you see me doubling these tracks. Literally, I don't have to use my hands. I mean, I do, but I don't have to. It can literally sew by itself. So make sure that lever is always down. Okay, so now my foot is on that pedal and I am sewing these tracks together. Make sure that your tracks are not exactly on top of each other. Make sure that they're next to each other. So you can see right here that they are not exactly on top of each other, because if they are on top of each other, that is defeating the purpose of this whole method. We want it to be flat, like it's not even together. So as you can see, this is going super fast. I'm just showing you guys, but I could literally double tracks in like 1 minute, a whole like row, a bundle. And yes, doubling the tracks is just that easy. So this method I'm about to show you guys right here is not a method that everybody does. There are plenty of different ways to make a wig. This way works for me. It's the quickest way for me, and I hope that it will help you guys. So I make sure that my wig cap is on my mannequin. If you didn't see part 2, please go back and watch part 2 to see how I got these guidelines. So now that my tracks are doubled, I am ready to cut my tracks before I sew them on this cap. So I measure them first. I place my tracks on my mannequin head and I measure the length that this track should be. Just like that. And I do this on every guideline that I have drawn. Doing it this way ensures that when I sew my tracks on this cap, that it will be the exact same measurements as this mannequin head. So the key to this is to, when you are sewing these tracks that you have cut on the sewing machine, that you make sure that this track that you cut actually takes up that full line and fits the cap, if that makes sense. And if you do this part correctly, you will have no bunching. No, you don't have to worry about none of those issues that you have when creating a wig. Your wig will come out perfectly. Also, an important thing to know is to keep these tracks in order, because if they're not in order, then you already messed up. Keep them in order so when you sew them on, you're organized. You don't want to put a wrong track in the wrong spot. So here I have all my tracks cut. They're in order to where they should be placed, and they are ready to be sewn on the cap. And this sewing method is going to be so fast when you get to sewing. All you have to do is go piece by piece, sew it on, sew it on, sew it on, sew it on, and you're going to be done in no time. Guys, if you're learning anything, please subscribe to this channel. Okay, so let's get to the part that we've all been waiting for, and that is making this wig, sewing these tracks on the cap. So the key to this part is definitely making sure that this track that you cut fits this whole entire line that you drew on this cap. So make sure that you are closing at the beginning in the front, like I showed you in the first video, part 1, and then keep sewing. So make sure that this track is going to fit this whole line. If you need to check to see how I'm checking right now to see how long this is, okay, it looks like I may need to stretch my cap just a little bit to make sure that this track fits. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stretch the cap just a little bit, but the key is I have to do what I have to do to make sure that this wig turns out to be the same size of the mannequin, because that's the size of your or your client's head. So I am sewing, but at the same time I am slightly stretching because this track has to fit this line. So I'm stretching just a little, and I'm still checking at the end to see how much more I have to stretch. And depending on the size of the cap, sometimes you don't have to stretch it at all. Sometimes, like if you have a smaller cap, you don't have to stretch it. If you have a bigger cap, sometimes you have to stretch. It just depends, but each line is different. Pay attention. If you see that a track is not going to fit the line, is too short, that means that you just need to bunch the cap a little bit on that line. If it is looking like the track is too long, that means you just need to stretch it a little bit on that line, but it should look exactly like that. So I'm going back and forth to make sure that my track does not come off of my cap, and then I'm going to sew. I'm checking, see me checking to see if it's going to fit. It looked like it is going to fit, so I don't have to stretch, but I am making sure that my cap is flat and that this track is going to fit this line. If you guys have any questions about this method, please leave a comment and I will try to respond accordingly. If you think that this method will work for you, please like this video and please subscribe to this channel for more. So far this is how my cap is looking. It's looking pretty good, right? Everything looks even and done correctly. So now I'm sewing my last track before we get to our lace. It's not done any differently. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great. Sew that last track on. This is when you feel like, OMG, I'm almost done. So this is the end of part 3. If this video has helped you, please like it. Please subscribe to this channel for more parts and more videos like this. This is how it should look when you're all done sewing on your tracks. All you have left is your lace piece and the final track that goes on top of that lace piece. This is how the inside should look. It's a perfect fit. And that is all, guys. Thanks for watching.